Hey everybody, it's Allie, the Canine Nutritionist from Padfoot Palms. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. If you would consider hitting that subscribe button, it greatly helps us and I would definitely appreciate it. Also, you never know, maybe your food is going to be coming up next for review and you might really want to see that. As a matter of fact, if you want me to review your pet's food, comment down below and let me know what it is and I'll make a video. So by request today, we are going to be reviewing the Honest Kitchen. There wasn't a specific recipe that was requested, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of them. And we're going to be looking for problematic ingredients, ingredients that are inflammatory or that cause inflammation in the joints. We're definitely going to be looking for anything that might be allergy inducing. So we're just going to go step by step. If you would like a complete list of problematic ingredients, I have a list in the Padfoot Palms Facebook group. In the files section, you will find a list. I continually update it, so it is up to date as far as February 1st of 2020. So go ahead and join our Facebook group. Check it out. Link is in the description box. Okay, let's just get right into it. So let's take a look at some Honest Kitchen foods. So right now I'm on chewy.com because they make it very easy to click and see the ingredients. And I just wanted to show you guys that they have quite a few options. So we've got grain included, grain free. We've got a base mix, which we'll be taking a look at, as well as multiple protein options and some other things. So let's go ahead and take a look at our first option. Okay, so first up, we've got the whole grain chicken recipe, and this is a dehydrated food. This price is for the 10-pound box. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at the ingredients. And let me go ahead and steady the camera here so that you can see everything. Okay, so let's take a look at the ingredients. Dehydrated chicken, sounds good. Organic barley. Okay, so barley by itself is a good option as far as including a grain in your pet's food, whether that's in a kibble or if you're doing a homemade food, barley is a good option. Now, in this specific instance, it's not the only thing included, so we're going to count it in the problematic category. So let's keep going so you can see what I mean. Next up, we got dehydrated potatoes. Okay. So now with barley and potatoes, we've got too many carbs. And this is the challenge of looking at commercial pet foods. It's becoming harder and harder to find foods that only have one grain or they only have one carb, right? They're doubling up, tripling up, and that's when you hear people talk about fillers, because they're trying to bulk up the food, right? But they're not doing it with protein. So barley, potatoes, flaxseed, which is good. Now we've got oats. So now we're up to 3. And then next up is dehydrated peas. I do not recommend anything with peas if you can help it. The reason why I don't recommend foods with peas or legumes of any kind is because the research is still out as far as how legumes are related to DCM, which is dilated cardiomyopathy. It's a heart condition. It's linked to the malabsorption of taurine, which comes from meat. So because they're not sure if it's caused by the peas or the legumes or the beans, until the research is confirmed and they figure it out, I just recommend that you avoid it. If you absolutely have to feed something because it's in your budget and it includes just peas, right? Not peas and chickpeas and kidney beans and everything else. If it's just got one legume in it, then if you have to feed that food, I do not recommend that you feed it for more than a month or two. Ideally, you want to be rotating your dog's food every bag or every box in this case. So going with a smaller bag is a better option. So if you have to feed something with peas, I recommend you rotate to something without peas or legumes for your next batch. So just a little tip there, because I know it's getting increasingly harder and harder to find foods that do not have legumes in them. Dehydrated carrots are good, parsley's good, banana's good, celery, kelp, minerals, all of those are good. As you can see, because there are peas in the food, they're adding taurine, which a lot of companies are doing now. Basically, they're just trying to cover their butt because even they don't know if it's bad or not. So that's what we've got there. And then if you take a look at the guaranteed analysis, if you were to add up your protein and your fat and your fiber and then subtract that from 100, that would give you the amount of carbs. So I'll let you go ahead and do that while I point out some other things. I think you'll be surprised at how many carbs are in this food. So while you're doing that, let me see if I can focus here. Focusing. Okay, it doesn't want to do it. Okay. So, the other thing that I wanted to point out is that this food is formulated to meet the nutritional values for profiles, all life stages, including the growth of large-sized dogs. So not only is this good for puppies, but it's also adequate for large breed puppies. So that's also something to keep in mind. While you're calculating the guaranteed analysis, let's point out some other things that you should keep in mind when looking at the label of whatever food you're choosing, right? 100% human grade. Okay, I don't need to read any further because that means nothing. There's no such thing as human grade, right? It's a marketing term, so don't be fooled by that. Most of what goes into pet food is not human grade. That's why it's in pet food. So because there is no regulatory agency that dictates, what constitutes quote unquote human grade, this can be anything. So don't be fooled by that. That's just marketing. So they're saying that you can use it as a meal or as a topper. They've got their suggested how much to feed. So one thing I'd like to point out about feeding guidelines is that they are just guidelines, right? They have to put this on the package to give you an idea of how much to feed, but your dog may be very, very active and they may need more calories in a day than what dictates on this chart. So don't be afraid to, adjust the amount either to feed more or to feed less. If you find that your dog is gaining weight, feed a little bit less. And then here they're just talking about rehydrating the food. So let's take a look at how much water they're saying to use, because I find that companies do not advertise that you should use enough water. Okay, yeah, so they're about the same. So I would say that what you should do if you're opting to go with a dehydrated food is to mix the food with warm water. That is a good idea. It says let it wait for 3 minutes to rehydrate. I like to let it sit for a while I do something else, come back to it, and then add more warm water to it, because just the amounts that they're recommending is not enough. The food's going to absorb it, and part of it is still going to be crunchy. It's still going to be hard. Really, you want it to be almost a soupy consistency. I know some dogs don't prefer that. So, if you have one of those picky eaters that won't do a soupy consistency, then you could opt to do something else. But ideally, the more moisture you can get in there, the better. Okay, so here's our whole grain turkey recipe. Let's take a look. Let's find our ingredients. The other thing that you're going to find with these companies is that they have a tendency to have very similar recipes, or base recipes, I should say. So let's see how this turkey one stacks up. So we've got turkey, which is good, oats, which by themselves would be fine, except they've already added potatoes. And then we've got carrots, cabbage, dried apples, honey. Okay, here is where I have a problem. Any sweetener that's added to a food, for me, is problematic, because where that sweetener, I'm trying to get this to focus, sorry guys. Where that sweetener is going to end up is on your dog's teeth as tartar. So I do not like foods that add honey or molasses or things of that nature. I don't need companies adding in sugar, because what you have to keep in mind is this says dehydrated honey, but nowhere on this label does it tell you how much. Is it a pinch of dehydrated honey? Is it a pound of dehydrated honey? Right? There's no way for you to know. So if you wanted to add something medicinally like honey to your pet's food, you wouldn't want it to already be in the food, right? Because you're going to be missing out on all of the healing properties. Like, for instance, honey can be used to help alleviate some of the strain on the throat for a dog that has kennel cough. So you don't want it to already be in the food. And secondly, you really want to control the amount. And you just can't do that if you don't know how much is in it. So moving on, we've got kelp, garlic, we've got all the minerals. All that looks good. Okay. And then you've got your analysis, which I'll let you go ahead and calculate. If you don't know how to calculate the guaranteed analysis to figure out the carbs, make sure you join the Pad Foot Palms group. I created a unit in that group that shows you exactly how to do it. Let me find my X here. That shows you exactly how to do it, so that you can calculate the carbs on your pet's food. Okay, so I know we've already done a chicken recipe, but let's go ahead and take a look at the grain-free chicken recipe just to see what all is included. Let's go to that ingredients. And let's focus. Okay, so as you can see, the formula is very similar. Here's where we have some differences. So we've got potatoes, right, which the other one had. Now we've got the addition of sweet potatoes. So we're doubling up on the potatoes. We've got that honey in there again. Let's see. And in this one, they've added green beans. So again, those are beans. They fall under the legume category. So I don't recommend that you feed those on a consistent basis. So it looks like for their grain-free option, they just included more potatoes. All right, let's take a look at their base mix. So this is a very interesting concept, because what this does is it allows you to add your own protein. So let's say you have a dog with severe allergies that can only eat emu. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there as a protein source. You could use something like this, and then you, of course, add in the protein, either cooked or raw, to provide for your dog. So let's take a look here. Again, we've got the sweet potatoes, we've got the peas. They've added in coconut this time around, which I'm fine with. Apples, bananas, spinach, pumpkin, celery. Okay, we got that honey in there again, which I'm not a fan of. So if this only had the sweet potatoes and not the peas, I would say that this is a good mixer. Because it has both, you know, again, that makes it problematic for people to try to feed their pets on a regular basis. So we'll take a look at their beef recipe. I'll try to click through this a little faster for you. And let's just look quickly at that. Okay, oats, barley, potatoes. So again, not to sound like a broken record, but if we just had the oats, you know, we'd be saying, hey, this is really good food. So, oh, sorry. Come on, focus. Here we go. All right, so let's come down to food clusters. I'm not 100% sure what that is. Okay, let's take a look at it. Wow, look at this marketing. Human grade quality and safety. Yeah, that's not a thing. Oh, okay, so let's see. Are these freeze-dried? What are these? Okay. Cold pressed into bite-sized clustered. Okay, so it's another dehydrated option. Okay. Do I get to see some ingredients? Hey, here we go. Okay, so I'm glad I clicked on this one. Okay, so let's go through the problematic ingredients. We've got potatoes, we've got peas, and we have lentils. Not good. Then we come down a little bit further. Natural chicken flavor. Definitely not good. Anything marked flavor is a loophole for any number of chemicals that they can use as food enticers to trick your dog into eating the food. So I am not a fan of anything that says flavor, and I would immediately dismiss this as an option. Additionally, this also has fenugreek seed in it, which if you have a female, you know, it is not good. That's what we use as breeders to help our females produce more milk. I do not recommend that you have it just in the food all the time. And also rosemary is problematic because it can be seizure inducing. So if you have dogs that are prone to seizures, you wouldn't want to feed this because it's got rosemary in it. And that's all I see off the top of my head here. Okay, so I know we went through a lot. I know that it was a lot of information to take in. If you guys need help learning how to read these labels so that you can make better choices for your pets, then please, by all means, comment down below, list the food that you would like for me to review. Come and join the Facebook group, the Padfoot Palms Facebook group. All dogs, all breeds, all mixes are welcome. And you can either tag me there to review a food for you, or You can take a look at the ingredient list that I have posted of all the problematic ingredients, and you can start taking a look at these labels yourself to see what's going to work best for your dog. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.